We've all seen family dramas where one child gets a little more attention than the other. Maybe they got better grades, or maybe they're just the loud one in the room. But what happens when a family doesn't just favor one child? What if they completely erase the existence of another? In Dharman's latest video, titled Middle Child Gets Ignored by Her Family, we are introduced to a dynamic that goes way beyond typical favoritism. It ventures into psychological neglect, the superficiality of social media culture, and the ultimate revenge of the overlooked. Today, we are diving deep into this modern-day fable. We'll analyze the narrative structure, the characters we love to hate, the heavy-hitting poetic dialogue, and whether the emotional payoff at the end actually hits the mark. If you are a middle child, or if you've ever felt invisible in a room full of people, this video might hit a little too close to home. Let's break it down. Let's start with the setup. The story revolves around triplets Miri, Shannon, and our protagonist, June. Right off the bat, the film establishes a hyper-exaggerated, toxic family dynamic. First, we have Miri, hailed as the literal genius and the future of the family because she won a state competition. Then there's Shannon, the social media influencer who is obsessed with filters, lip combos, and online validation. And their parents, well, they aren't really parents. They operate more like talent managers. They are obsessed with a picture-perfect life, prioritizing how their family looks online over how they actually treat each other in reality. And then there's June, played brilliantly with an internal white sadness. June is the middle child, or rather the forgotten triplet. The opening sequence sets the tone perfectly. It's a combined celebration for Mary's win and the triplet's birthday. But notice how the parents treat June. She isn't a celebrated guest. She is treated as unpaid crew. She's told to fetch chargers, hold the camera, and prep the cake. The peak of this disrespect happens during the cake cutting. The parents literally leave June's name completely off the birthday cake. When she asks for a slice, they tell her they ran out. On her own birthday, the only person who sees her is her grandmother, who gives her a pocket knife as a self-defense metaphor and tells her to stay strong. This segment does an excellent job of building immediate frustration in the audience. You want June to snap, and you want it badly. What elevates this specific Dharman video from his usual content is the writing style of June's character. Instead of shouting or crying, June channels her pain into literature. The turning point of the video happens in the classroom during a creative writing assignment. June reads a monologue that is arguably some of the most poetic and profound dialogue written in a Dharman production. She asks the class, "Do you ever feel like you've been placed just outside the narrative? Not absent, just unassigned. Close enough to understand everything but not central enough to disrupt it. If nothing ever seems to hinge on your presence, are you still the main character of your own life?" This is a massive shift in tone. It addresses the core psychological trauma of neglect. June feels like a background character in her own life. While her sister Shannon is flirting and Mary is chasing scholarships, June is noticed by a classmate named Bryce who recognizes her undeniable talent. But the toxicity follows her to school. When June is offered a chance to be part of the school magazine, her sister Mary uses her mother's influence to hijack the editor-in-chief position, relegating June to shredding old paper. The message here is loud and clear. The family doesn't just ignore June, they actively suppress her potential to keep their own spotlight bright. But June decides to take the advice of her classmate and disrupt the narrative. She starts an anonymous online account, posting poetic, scathing truths about her family's fake lifestyle. She exposes the fact that their mansion is just a rental and that their curated perfection is a sham. The direct quote from her post says, "Beneath the curated candid are piles of receipts from a purchased perfection production." That line goes incredibly hard. Naturally, the family panics. Shannon loses followers and their superficial world begins to crumble. When Mary discovers a fountain pen and connects the writing style to June, a brutal confrontation takes place. And this is where the parents cross the line from being unlikable to downright villainous. Instead of apologizing for forgetting her birthday or ignoring her for years, the mother tells June, "You are not winning awards like Mary. You are not building a following like Shannon. All you do is sit around and write self-pitying prose." They officially kick June out of the house, sending her to live with her grandmother just to protect their fragile online reputation. This scene is bound heartbreaking, but narratively essential. It cuts all ties. June is no longer by the need for their validation. Fast forward into the future and we get the classic Dharman redemption and revenge arc. June has turned her pain into a best-selling book appropriately titled The Invisible Girl. girl. She is having a massive book launch party. She is successful. She is celebrated and she is seen. And then comes the poetic justice. Her sisters, Miri and Shannon, whose superficial dreams clearly fell apart, are actually working as servers at June's party. When the parents show up, thinking June rented another mansion, Bryce reveals that June doesn't rent it, she owns it. The parents try to pull off a classic gaslighting move. They say, "We are sorry for not seeing your potential." But June delivers the ultimate mic drop line, "It's a good thing I realized that nobody else gets to define my potential. Only I do." To make matters worse, the parents immediately ask her for money to help pay off their credit card bills. It proves that they haven't changed. They still view people as commodities. June politely rejects them, turns her back, and celebrates her success with people who truly love her. The invisible girl didn't just become visible, she became the author of her own destiny. So, what is the final verdict on middle child gets ignored by her family? Structurally, it follows the predictable Dharman formula: extreme mistreatment followed by extreme karma. However, what makes this video stand out is the emotional depth of June's monologues. The commentary on how social media forces families to perform happiness rather than experience it is very relevant today. The acting from the protagonist perfectly captures the quiet resilience of someone who has been pushed to the margins. My only critique is that the parents' transition into asking for money at the end felt a bit too rushed and cartoonishly evil, but hey, that's the signature style we expect. Overall, it's a solid, emotionally satisfying watch with a powerful message. Do not wait for a toxic environment to recognize your worth. Define your own potential. What did you guys think of June's revenge? Did the family get what they deserved, or should June have forgiven them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more deep dive reviews, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.